voice news.
TASS citing the Kremlin say they got no information yet about the US-Ukraine talks.
All right, hello.
Germany's 10-year government bond yield extends rise, up 6.5 basis points at 2.16%. That's set for its biggest daily rise since July 24th.
Pretty clear 30-second opening range rejections, as well as Friday, previous day value. Just pushing down back to our lows, same as before. Looks like we're doing gap fills on Russell. I would say we're probably coming down to this 57 on ES, but we've got some potential here to find a double bottom at 67 and not need to go down to that 57. But again, liquidity is down here into that ADR. Just keeping an eye on this. I'd love to see if NQ could find a low here with ES trying to double bottom, and then NQ holding our previous day POC. If we can do like a double bottom across market, be interesting. That's what we're attempting to see right now. Watch POC a previous candle for a potential reoffer. So watch 750 for sell side to be sitting there to slap us down if this isn't going to be able to double bottom. Like so. You mean like when I open it? What do you mean? No, I mean it depends. A lot of days it takes I don't know, 5 seconds. 10 minutes is crazy. You're talking about the desktop version, right? Yeah. Because like if you tried the browser, it would load probably immediately for you. You might need to clear your cache. If you are playing off of our previous day, our previous POC of this is your first risk off. I only got filled on a third of the contracts that I wanted there, sadly. But our idea is playing out on the reoffer of previous POC, but just back into our previous day. God, sorry, I'm like having a hard time speaking. Our previous 15-minute candle held as resistance, right? We have pushed back down into previous day POC here. Double bottoming. So just following our idea, we need to push below and then flip this for one more leg down. I'd like to see this 24 go resistance, and then we can look for a push below ETH low to take those guys out if we're going to do one more leg. So leave runners just in case, but this is the bottom of our little short-term balance here. Again, I'd like to see one more leg down, and I'm going to try to leave a runner for it if we can hold, but we need to do something like this if we're going to get down. Same thing on NQ. This would go resistance. Could come back up. I don't know. We'll see. But I'd love to see one last leg if we can get through this 720. I'm willing to try to hold a little. Roger, how are you?
UK gilts extend losses. The 5-year yield is at its highest now since November 20th, up 8 basis points on the day.
Bid resting here at 708 on NQ. 500 contracts. And take off another as we push into that. I think they're gonna pull and then we go down to 90. That's my guess, but I want to be a little careful. Again, I think we are taking out our ETH lows here. I think that's the idea. I just expect us to kind of come into this. This is where we absorbed last Friday, if you guys remember. I think we take these out, and then we either immediately go for previous day value low, or we're going to have to retest previous day POC here off of a little relief bounce. So I'm just kind of expecting that, and then looking to see if we can hold this, right? Because if we can hold previous day POC and this edge here on retest, then we should be able to target our low. So we'll see. Kind of looking for something like this, just to follow our value structure. Exhausted, I bet. Oh, I bet. Did you have fun? Was it worth? Surf, how do you not know? You know everything. How do you not know that Rory was on vacation? It's crazy. Alright, and I am now fully filled. That's our first trade of the day. Huge. ES has a little bit more room into our VPOC there, but that's your just your shift of value from our POC hold. If you have the ability to hold the runners, there's definitely potential for more downside. I will look to re-enter if we can hold this as resistance, but we'll see. I am now flat, personally. Going to delete our trade idea now that this is done. This is ES into target. I expect a bit of relief here. So, again, like this is just where we were seeing a lot of volatility last time. So I've been taking off into this, same as Friday. I just need to see if we can hold below or if this is going to be pretty volatile again and we step back above and then hold it as supportive. This is why I've taken off. If you have the ability to hold a runner and you from higher, I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but expect this to be a pretty volatile edge and see if we can put in a lower high here where the offer is able to hold like our ETH low, potentially. I don't know. Expect that though, something like this. Or we're going to see something like this. I'm watching previous day value low as our pivot with a higher low look over 700 for rotation back up. For sell side to take advantage of this, we would need to see them push back below 70s on NQ, like I have pathed. This will be our pivot, where we, again, have just seen buyers absorb over and over and over again. It was the same thing as Friday. Let me show that. Every time we've come down here, it's just been incredibly volatile, where we've absorbed, and the candle has been unable to close below this pivot over and over again, right? This is all of Friday. So I'm expecting something kind of similar, where we're trying that right now. So until we can close below 70 on the 15-minute, I have zero faith in continued downside, but they're definitely trying into this open, right? Like we can see that from our pivot at our highs and then our reoffer and now our push. So this is where I expect buyers to be, just like we have written. But if we can close below 70, then I'll look to re-enter for a continuation down. That's kind of the idea. So let's see if they can hold this as a bid. We are here right now. You can see us trying to build out like that. Oh my god, why did he just flashbang us? True. Next time you do that trip, Rory, so you should expand from just Japan. All the flights to everywhere else in Asia are so cheap from Japan. So you do like a week in Japan, and then you go to, I don't know, China, or you go to Thailand, or you go to Vietnam or something. It's like $100, not even, to get a flight and go somewhere else. Yeah, well, okay, well, Singapore, I don't know. Singapore is expensive as fuck. I wouldn't go to Singapore. Unless you're planning to, unless you have like a pretty penny saved up. Singapore is so expensive. Holding where we need to so far on NQ above our pivot. Again, it's just this is the same area as Friday. We're just trying to build back above. So this look below is our catalyst for buyers to take advantage on the look back above, right? We have failed on the sell side to hold where we need to for the push down. So now we are trying to see if these guys below are going to be offsides and if secondary buyers are now going to take advantage for a push back up. Same thing with ES, right? We went right to target, and now we are trying to break down trend by rotating back up. I'm not going to feel incredibly comfortable on ES until we can push back over 73s and hold, personally. I think like this all is just where sell side sits. Until we can push above like this, I'm not incredibly confident. But I think for like short-term moves on NQ, there's definitely potential playing off of this pivot here. And then again, like this is just pushing up into target, right? Into our 20s. Until we can get above this though, I'd expect our seller to be sitting here. So this should be our first risk off, but if we can flip it, then we have room where we then trade up to 60. Taking my first risk off if we push into 720. Again, if we flip that, we then have room up to 60. Do you guys understand this trade, this idea? These are just our levels from last Friday, so it's just the same thing, but this is previous day POC is target right now, and if we can flip that, then previous day POC will go supportive, and then we can play up to previous day value high and our 15-minute view up for the reversion trade. But until then, right, like this is where we expect sell side to be sitting. Until we can flip this 20 to 30, it's just resistance.
SoftBank and Nvidia are looking to invest in a skilled AI at $14 billion valuation, according to sources.
Yeah, the only thing that's like cheaper in Singapore is the food. Singapore? No. That's like one of the only places in Asia I haven't been. Yeah, it's just true. True. Yeah. Yeah, the meta is to just sleep at the airport and just go out to eat at restaurants. Oh, Lord. JAL, free domestic flights? Really? That's very cool. Yeah, I see what you're talking about. To be honest, I've never found the flights to be all that expensive to Japan, regardless. But it is cool that they'll offer free flights. Okay, I'm seeing right now that there isn't a huge difference in pricing based off of the taxes that are occur based off of trying to do as a domestic instead of an international. All right, let's see if we find a bounce here or if our pivot's going to hold as resistance. Again, like I just need to see how we interact here into this yellow pivot. If we can hold and flip, then I'm still pretty bullish here. If we're going to flip this as supportive. If this fails, then I'll be just looking for this as our offer point for a continuation down. It's the same as before. What we're watching for into these lows, this is very similar to how we interacted here on on Friday. We're just watching to see if we can make a higher low here, right? Can this hold as our pivot? Can we hold our previous day value after looking in, after rejecting our previous day POC? And can we make a higher low? And do we see a secondary buyer step in, or is our offer now sitting here where we have it marked? And does this fail? And then do we hold and hold this as resistance on a continuation down? We're just watching to see if our secondary buyer is willing to defend. Into our zone here. Nothing, no change on ES. Still holding our pivot, just like we talked about. Needs to flip this for me to really care. But NQ specifically, I'm really watching this area. See if we can build out that higher
Iraqi
low.
oil official, the West Kerner 2 halt will be partial and brief.
One minute, 30 seconds till new 15s. New 15s opening now. Quite the battle here. Very two-sided.
US stock indexes add to declines. S&P 500 down 0.2%, the Dow Jones down 0.3%, and the Nasdaq down 0.1%. At 11 a.m. Eastern Time, we're expecting the New York Fed inflation expectations.
I don't know how I feel about this. This just feels kind of like a fake out to me. We'll see. RTY is trying to lead down, but it just looks like a pullback on Nvidia. And if Nvidia finds a higher low here, then I think that buyers step in and they just trap sellers. It's kind of my idea right now. Just keeping an eye on it. Because as soon as Nvidia finds this higher low, NQ pops. But if Nvidia can't find the higher low, then we have an issue. I think this is bait right now. I don't know. We'll see. I think this is still a long, but it could easily be a short if sell side can actually push through. So I want to be very patient here because it's very two-sided. Just patience is key. Just waiting for NVIDIA to find its low or a catalyst. Again, this is just like our higher time frame where like our absorption is occurring. I don't want to try to build a position too heavy here and then get chopped up and then go in the direction that we want, with me then, you know, being stopped because I have too heavy of a hand while we wait for this to figure out what it wants to do down here into these lows. They're still willing to take in into 70. I need to see them
In
sweep
5
through
minutes' time, we're
that.
expecting the New York Fed inflation expectations.
I'm missing this trade. I don't care though. I don't like it. Like, we're holding our pivot where we need to on the reoffer, but it's too slow for me. Too volatile into news. I might miss out on another 50 points potentially. And I'm still not trading it. I don't care.
Traders price in less than 75 base points of Fed easing by end of 2026.
I don't like these lows at all. So, again, I'm not in it. Not playing the short. Nvidia is still holding a higher low. This still feels like very fake to me. Back to our pivot here into our 85.95. You can try playing off of this for 10 points of risk, but I don't know. I am not a fan.
One minute remaining.
News in 1 minute. Hopefully a decision is made after that.
Ten seconds.
New 15s. News coming out now.
The New York Fed says one-year inflation expectations unchanged at 3.2% in November. The New York Fed says November 3-year ahead expected inflation rate unchanged at 3%. US households year ahead expected inflation rate unchanged at 3.2% in November. The New York Fed said households more pessimistic on current future financial situations in November. New York Fed says November year ahead expected rise in medical costs highest since January 2014. New York Fed says November home price rise expectations steady at 3%. The labour market expectations improved in November. I think that's it.
If you're playing off of the 80 to 95 area, this is your first risk off into our lows, but I wouldn't be willing to hold. I don't know. I don't like this area. We'll see what happens. Until we get out of here, like, I'm very low leverage.
We have posted the New York Fed survey of consumer expectations on the feed for those interested.
Offer will try to sit into high 40s, low 50s,
Apple's
I think.
chip chief tells staff he's not leaving anytime soon.
Just keeping an eye on this for a reoffer for one more leg down into 600. If it's going to continue, I expect our seller to try to sit into that 50 to 60.
The BLS to not publish October PPI.
Sell side's trying here, but I don't know if they win it out. No clue. Watching NVIDIA as we come into our low here at 183.11, with Russell also trying to find a higher low. Just into pivots. If RTY can find a higher low, then maybe we get some sort of reversal, but we need Russell to show interest. Seller is definitely trying to step down here into 50 to 60, but if we flip this, potential for this to flip, I guess, yeah. Just keeping an eye on it.
The BLS say they will not produce an October 2025 import and export price indexes. The BLS plan to publish October data with the November 2025 MXPI news release on January 15, 2026.
We're watching this. This could be incredibly important if we can get the higher low here off the reversion signal for a pushback up, allowing the market to then move. Says NQ into PVZ value low. NVIDIA bouncing off of our pivot so far, but we are watching to see if we get follow through now, or if this is going to fail and put in a lower high and then continue downward. If this market was faster, I'd be playing off of 50s right now as an offer. But because we're so slow, it's very hard for me to want to do much. But like off of this initial sell, usually in a faster market, I would be playing off of this with their liquidity kind of stepping in, and then I'd be looking to play off of that for a lower high, with this then being our stop out. But because RTY is holding where it is, and because the market is so slow, it is a bit awkward to try to short that. So I'm just not doing that. But just as like an FYI, that's like a usual play for me. Would be looking to be like, okay, well, are we pushing into it? Did we take out that liquidity? And then did we put in a lower high? And then playing this as my risk. That's like a kind of like a usual setup for scalps. But because of how slow we're trading, it feels a bit awkward. And with Russell diverging, it's like we have to wait for Russell to figure out what it wants to do. Yeah, exactly. Which is kind of, but it's like not great scalping because of how slow. But again, like it's very clear like where our areas of interest are, but with the divergence in the markets, with like the higher low on Russell, very different action happening across the board. It just makes it a bit awkward. But like the overall trend is direction. Like we have a very clear like directional trend down, which I think is fine to be playing off of. But for like the shorter time frame pivots, again, like this on any other day, like I'd be playing this for a secondary leg down with our first risk off here, right into our lows, always, to make it a 1-to-1. And then for the follow through, we would then make this like a
Fed bids for
3-to-1.
6-month bills total $3.3 billion. Fed bids for 3-month bills total $3.7 billion.
But it's just a little too jumpy for me. Brother, like, can we speed it up? There's nothing worse than trying to take shorts in a slow market, so I just kind of refuse to trade it, personally. Because it's awful. Especially with like an RTY diverging with a higher low. But I want to make sure like I show you guys what I'd be looking for. But I don't know. It just takes way too long for me. My ADHD brain can't be bothered. I don't care about FOMC. If anything, it'll just be a balanced market, which can be very
According to
tradable.
JIMA, a tsunami
I
of
don't
70
need,
centimeters observed in Japan's Kuji port in the Iwate prefecture.
I don't need higher time frame movement. I just need a bit more confidence in our edges. That's all. Because like in FOMC can be really beneficial for us, for the scalping. But I need it to just be clear directionally at our edges, just so that we have a bit more confidence when we're actually entering. I just don't want to like where we like kind of like, you know, do nothing at our pivots for 10 minutes and you're just like in a trade that's like, you know, it's working, but we're not actually getting a ton of follow through. Like those are the worst trades for me. Like stuff like this, where like this is a profitable trade as is, but at any point it could easily shift and break through pivots because of where we're holding. Like to me, like that is the worst. It's like, oh, I should have taken off for 15 points. Like that's just choppy nonsense. I don't like it. I want higher confidence in our edges. I'm totally fine with this just like range trading though into FOMC. Like that to me is super profitable.
At 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time, we're expecting the US 6-month and 3-month bill auctions. 6-month prior bill high yield 3.635%, prior bid to cover 3.02, 3-month prior high yield 3.725%, prior bid to cover 2.82.
So we just went down into our lows, took that out. That's your first target, like I said.
Full
Back
output
up to this
resumed at the
seller.
West Kerner 2 oil field in Iraq.
I'm not
The
in
West Kerner 2 will
this
pump more
trade.
than normal to make up for halt.
I do not short slow markets. Not for me. Not for me. Russell still pushing, holding our higher low. No change there. ES still just chopping between our pivots. If Russell can push back over VWAP, then I think market goes up. If Russell finds resistance here into 31 to 33, then I'd expect no change on the overall trend on the day. So just keep an eye as we push into this. This is our pivot. Now that we've gotten our higher low push, NQ is just sideways while we do this. But I think that we have potential for upside if Russell can flip this. But I think if we find resistance here, there's no change in our actual market on NQ. That's my guess. But I think if we can go up, then we can do this move. Back to our 60 here on NQ. This is where our seller was sitting last. Again, just watch Russell as we push in. Market continues to slowly grind up as long as Russell has momentum.
In 5 minutes' time, we're expecting the US 6-month and 3-month bill auctions. 6-month prior high yield, 3.635%. Prior bid to cover, 3.02. 3-month prior high yield, 3.725%. Prior bid to cover, 2.82. Paramount says Warner Bros. Has 10 days to respond to the offer. Paramount says Warner Bros. Tender offer to be open for 20 days.
Warner Bros. Is crazy. It's brothers, good sir. Oh yeah, Paramount is trying to counterbid. I mean, there's no way that that deal goes through, right? Like, surely, neither one. I don't know.
Surely expecting the 3-month and 6-month bill auctions.
Maybe they just need to. Trump has to check PayPal, you know? I don't know. If the deal does go through, like, you just, like, puts on AMC, right? No? Like, theaters are dead. This area is so gross. If Russell can hold this flip over view up, though, this is going to be big for buyers on NQ. You can see them trying to form this right side of V right now on the 15 minute. See if we can hold our POC of previous candle here.
Three-month high yield, 3.65%, 3.65%. Bid to cover, 2.73, 2.73. The US selling $86 billion and awarding 31.80% of bids at high. 6-month high yield, 3.58%, 3.58%. Bid to cover, 3.01, 3.01. The US selling $77 billion. And awarding 82.34% of bids at high.
Get me out of here, man. Again, I think we're just waiting on Russell. I don't really think that there's anything to do here on NQ. You can try playing off of the lower high at 60, but again, like I think you're just waiting on Russell to bid here, and then NQ finds a secondary leg. It's so choppy that I don't think it's worth personally until we figure it out. I think the long is just the better play until this flips and Russell starts to lead down again. That's my personal opinion. Shorts in slow markets are just not fun. They are not fun. So I would either sit on hands or play with Russell. You can see like our levels are the exact same thing as what's happening on Footprint. The seller is trying to step in at this exact same point. It's just, it's so choppy, right? Very volatile within its while we wait for this decision to be made, that it's not worth your time with tight stops, because you're just going to get stopped out over and over again while we wait for a decision to be made. I would rather wait for Russell to figure out if it wants to be able to hold above this VWAP and build here for the overall market to find, you know, a bottom, or if we're going to chop down here, this is just going to be, you know, a pretty miserable bear flag that we're creating, and then a failure at our previous day value low results, and you know, that rotation down. I just don't have the energy in me to play this on a Monday until we figure out what we want to do. It's just kind of a miserable trade, so I'd rather just not, which is probably not what a lot of you want to hear, but it is what it is. Get over it. Russell flag still holding, testing VWAP. NQ testing PVZ value low. Yes, POC is trying to shift down here. Awful market.
So correction coming in here. BLS to publish October, November PPI data together in January.
Jesus.
In 10 minutes' time, we're expecting comments from ECB's Vilroy and comments from Bank of England's Taylor, who's speaking on a panel at McKinsey.
Dude, even Twitter is dead. What a lame day. Yeah, there's nothing to even like. There's literally nothing.
In 5 minutes' time, we're expecting comments from ECB's Vilroy and Bank of England's Taylor, with Taylor speaking on a panel at McKinsey.
Mondays are just like a complete waste of time at this point. Like you get 1 hour of trading in the morning, and then that's it. I've made 2 trades today. Like, what are we doing? Yeah, I mean, hey, it's Monday. It is what it is. Maybe Mario will move the market. Surely. Alright, let's watch a video together.
Surely expecting comments from Bank of England's Taylor and ECB's Vilroy.
Opened at previous day, previous 15 minute, wow. We opened and offered at our previous POC of the last 15-minute candle. Sorry, I can't speak. And are rotating back down to our lows, watching to see if we absorb here or if we're just going to make our way finally to that 600. I mean, I'm not playing this. There's nothing, but that is what we are doing. Russell still holding where we needed to. Not really interested until we see RTY breakdown. Nvidia still just sideways chopping. If Nvidia can start to lead down, then maybe we get something. But yeah, not for me. If POCs can hold off of the shift and we can reoffer these as resistance, there might be something here for me to play. But I'd like to see a better reoffer and not just like grind down. I'm just really not interested in a market that looks like this. This is trash. Absolute trash. Yeah, 600 seems pretty likely.
Japan issues first Hokkaido Sankiru offshore earthquake alert.
600 bid held, rotating back up to our offer here. This is where we'll watch to see if sell side sits here into POC at our 40 to 60. The reason why we watch 40 is this is POC of previous candle, as well as our daily POC. Into our daily POC here at our 40s. Remember, it's just this 40 to 60. Watching to see if offer sits here or if bid can flip it. Sell side needs to push us below 27 for continuation down, or the bid can buy there. You get me? Something like this. This seller needs to sit and offer this. Or we can continue upward.
IAEA says Japan says no abnormalities so far at the Fukushima nuclear power plant site.
This is first risk off if you're playing off of 40. Watch for a potential bid here at our 27 into our value low. It's like 25, 27 area. Just look to see if a bid steps in or if we flip it. Again, this is just daily POC to our daily value low right now. And we'll watch to see if a bid setups in here and then rotates us up, or if this can flip, offer, and then rotate us down, taking out lows. Dude, this market is so trash. Oh, Lord. Continuation of our overall trend is still happening. POC, a previous candle holding as resistance, as well as our value area, right? It's just a downtrend, but it's the slowest downtrend I've ever seen in my life. I'm still in this short at 40. Nothing really else here. Just coming into our value low now. Same thing on ES, just POC holding as our offer, coming back down to our value low. This needs to flip if we're going to continue downward, or this is just where we're going to find a bid here again.
According to
It's the
Punchbowl
same
News,
thing on
bank CEOs
NQ.
have to discuss crypto market rules with senators.
Should just take Mondays off.
Further detail from this Punchbowl report on X. They say a trio of big bank CEOs will meet with senators this week to discuss crypto market structure legislation. Citi CEO Fraser, Bank of America CEO Moynihan, and Wells Fargo CEO Scharf are expected to sit down with senators on Thursday.
Says your secondary risk off here into 600, same liquidity as before. Either move stops down or take profit if you're playing off of our 40 to 60. Again, there's nothing here other than just trading off of our PVZ. So PVZ held at 60, offer held at 40. That's our daily POC, right? So PVZ value low held as resistance. We made a zone out of this from 40 to 60. That offered, and we rotated down to our reversion zone, which is just this green box off of our indicator. So we held where we needed to, and we rotated down for 60 points. I played it for 40, but that's the zone. Trade is in chat. I mean, there's not really much else here. Now we're just watching to see how we interact here into our reversion zone low. Overall trend is still to the downside, right? We are holding POCs as resistance, and we are slowly grinding our way down. We have some liquidity resting down at 570 that I think we could head towards, but it's very slow. This was my third trade on the day. New 15's opening in 20 seconds. Pretty miserable market. Pretty miserable.
Good morning, Monday traders.
Yeah. It's
Hello.
not great.
We'll see. We'll see if we get a little bounce here. Rory, what's up, man?
Go to sleep, bud.
Just a heads up, Japan's Prime Minister
Stay awake,
Taikichi is currently speaking on the wires.
Holding POC of previous 15. We are just balanced between this 630 and the 610 right now. POCs of the the last candle, so that's literally it. We're just holding daily and value low, basically, on NQ, while Russell chops sideways at VWAP as resistance. Yes, just slowly grinding down. NVIDIA still sideways in our range, no change. I don't think that we really go anywhere until we can see Russell and NVIDIA actually break out. Just awful chop. I still think this 40 to 60 above is a great pivot to play around on NQ, and the 600 low at our reversion off of our indicator is still solid. Just a range, but I'm flat into 600. I posted the trade in chat. Right back.
Bank of England's Taylor says foot is on the brake a little bit still. Taylor, as the wage inflation and services inflation is coming down. This is Taylor speaking at the McKinsey Global event.
Minutes left on this 15. Little excitement here, but still within range. No real look above out underlines. RTY back POC.
Fed bids doesn't bid for 3-year notes. So again, Fed does not bid for 3-year notes.
Yeah, I'm gonna head out.
Yeah, I have a feeling it's gonna be like this for an hour.
Yeah, I don't know.
Hopefully not 3.
Maybe I come back at 2, but I'm gonna go not sit here. Got 3 trades out on the day. Pretty garbage. Yeah, I don't really have much to say. Tomorrow will be better. Mondays are the worst. I'll come check back in around 2-ish. Goodbye.